Everyone, and thank you so much for coming. We're starting out with just a very brief business meeting, not too long, and then we have a section to thank people, not too long, because the main event is Henry, who's MIA. Where'd he go? Oh, I know with me. He's still wandering around.
There he is, right?
No, that's what about.
Oh, that's not. Oh.
That's the point. So
He was here.
You know, I'm here. There's a restroom right around the corner. So if you need to have that. Okay. So we have just a very. I'm Kathy Kelsey, by the way. So I'm president for another probably 12 minutes. You don't sound so eager. Yeah. Okay. So we're at very brief board reports. One from Terry, who will talk about the programs that were done this year. Terry's on the program committee along with Marcia Schmidt-Blaine, who's here somewhere. Long Beach.
Somewhere.
And she's down there. And Mary Ann Saul. So Terry?
Oh, you would start with that.
Yes.
So, I'm going to keep this really brief because I know we don't need to go through every program. So, it has been really fun. I'm actually, I'm not sure if I'm on the program committee or I am the liaison from the board to the program committee, something like that.
Exhibition.
Yeah, but anyway, I am. It's been a pleasure to be involved with Marcia and Mary Ann, finding programs with the help of the board and the community, and chasing down things that that were possibilities and turning them into actual presentations. So this year we've had talks every month from March to November, with the exception of August. Except I did be a bit bad one. The Galileo one was actually a FP's public library presentation. It ends up in our list of presentations, but anyway, they've been really successful. We've been getting between about 45 and 60 people attending most of the presentations at 5:30 on Wednesdays, mid-month, and it seems to be working out really well. So I just wanted to say thank you to Mary Ann and Marcia for all the work they do on that. I submit that. Well, there's more thank yous coming. But anyway, so I'm going to leave it at that. If you want details, you can get a copy of our newsletter scratchings, and there are some on the table over there that have details about each of the presentations we had this year. And you can also find that online at PlymouthNHhistory.org or on the not on the Facebook page, but you can find it online. There's a link to the scratchings on the Facebook page as well. But that's it for my report, unless anybody has any questions about it. Okay, that's good. Where my thing goes.
Okay, and then next we have a quick treasury report. Mary Baldwin actually couldn't be here tonight. Spreading up fever. What's up with that?
Mary's called.
Yeah, but Mary's going to tell us about the treasurer this year. Here's a quick recap of income and expenses for the fiscal year ending September 2024. We started the year with a checkbook balance of $5,983.74 and ended the fiscal year with a balance of $12,216.09. Expenses were routine: electricity, food, phone, insurance, P.O. box, security, printing costs, and domain renewal. The exception was $2,676, which was spent on our 50th celebration, for which we had previously set monies aside. Our only fundraiser this year was a barbecue on the Common as part of our 50th celebration, which raised $486. We have Steve Rand, Alex Ray, and the Plymouth Rotary to thank for that. Another moneymaker for us, a grant if you will, earning just over $4,000, came in the form of gaming revenue over the course of 5 consecutive days. The state of New Hampshire allows for 501c organizations registered and in good standing with the NH Charitable Trust Unit to receive 35% of gross gaming revenue. We are slated to have another go late this month into early November. And lastly, we have 3 CDs with Everbank, formerly TIAA Bank and headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida. These 3 CDs have $15,876.68, $5,201.49, $5,107.95, bringing our total assets to $38,402.21. And Mary has a note here. I am stepping down as treasurer after serving in this capacity for 3 years and hope that Kathy Kelsey will be elected our next treasurer. She is extremely efficient and is tech savvy and will modernize our financial tracking and reporting.
That sounds like a yes.
Does anyone have any questions for Mary?
And then Lisa is going to just talk for a minute about exhibits.
Thank you for coming tonight, everybody. The current exhibit that's up at the museum, it will be up for another month, is the exhibit that features our 50 years from 1974 until now, and what we have done, and a sampling of some of the things that we collect and preserve and share with the town, from textiles to artifacts to archives. And on rare occasion when people come looking for answers to some of their questions about their house, or if they are remembering correctly what happened when they were kids, they come in and we help them access that information. The exhibits for our next 2 years are kind of a little predetermined. Next year will be Plymouth at a Crossroads. It's going to be tying in with an exhibit that's going on at the Museum of the White Mountains in conjunction with an exhibit they have coming from the Smithsonian Institute about rural America and its change over time. And then the year after that, depending on how elections go, I guess, will be the 250th anniversary of the United States. And for those of you who remember, we did quite a big celebration around that back in 1976. And that was the first big thing that the Historical Society took on. The town asked them to take it on, and we did several projects around it. The biggest being we had a donated casket that was used as a time capsule, and we put a variety of artifacts in it, and it's supposed to be dug up in 2026. So we're trying to get together with the town, and hopefully our exhibit for 2026 will include what was buried back in 1976. And we're hoping to bury another time capsule and do a new version possibly of the cookbook and some other things. So if anybody's interested in giving suggestions as to what they would see in those exhibits, or if they'd like to help put the exhibits together with us, feel free to come up and talk to me after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say Lisa's done an amazing job. If you haven't been to the museum, please come look. And she donates so much of her time. She's one of the board members. We have only a couple board members that work full time. Lisa's one of those. So it's really a gift to us that she's given so much of her time to this. Okay. The next one is probably the most boring, but it'll be quick, I promise. I'm sorry, John. Bylaw changes.
Bylaws. So this is what you're all here for tonight.
Oh, can we get past these out?
If you'd like, we have some copies of the bylaws. Excuse me. So bylaws are basically, these are the rules that we live by in the Historical Society. Tells us how to run our organization internally and how our operations run. And there are a few changes. Some are some are very minor. Some are slightly bigger. Nothing too dramatic. So I'm going to run through them quickly. And I'll tell you before I run through them, according to 8 of our bylaws, Article 8, is how we make amendments to our bylaws. And they may be amended at any annual or regular board meeting that is noticed at least 2 weeks ahead to the members. And all members present may vote on the changes, and a 2/3 vote of all members present and voting constitutes changing bylaws. All right, so I'm just going to go through each change here quickly. Article 3, Section 2 is about annual dues, and we clarified some of the language there, streamlined it, and added a little bit of language about potential member benefits. Article 4, Section 1, duties of the president, we removed language about appointing committee chairs. Article 4, Section 6, the board composition, we added language there about the board as a whole rather than the president choosing committee chairs. Kind of democratizing that a little bit more. Article 6, committees. So the changes in how the chairs get nominated were reflected here. We added language for temporary committees of no more than 3 years. We also stipulated that at least one member of every committee have a board member on it, just to kind of serve as a liaison between the board and the committees. Other than that, we made some slight changes. The biggest one, though, being we added Section 8 of the committees section article, which is a new committee, a communications committee, to cover like communication and marketing sort of stuff for our events and activities and programs. And those are changes we made. Any questions? You want me to hold the vote, or you want to hold the vote as chair still? Or, okay, I can do it. So first of all, is everyone here a member? No? If you are a member, raise your hands. I'm not going to count everyone yet. Let's just hope. Who votes to approve these changes?
Don't you need a motion and a support? Oh, right.
Do we need a motion? I guess we need a motion in a second.
Yeah, we need a motion.
I'll move that they are accepted as John explained it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, I'm getting into my motion in a second mode here. Which I do all the time, of course, in other places. All right, in that case, who votes in favor of the changes and the motion? All right, so the motion passes and the bylaws are accepted. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay. So the next thing is to talk about this building. And I know that you've heard about welcome, by the way. Happy to see you here at that. So let me give you the whole backstory. So Northlake Bank called and said, you have to move this bridge. It belongs to the Historical Society, but it's been housed here for years and years and years. So jokingly, I said to Jeff, I think, what if we just bought the building? Then we wouldn't have to move the bridge, because where are we going to put it? We have a small space. This whole thing is 9 feet long. What are we going to do? And but we did check around and talk to Becky, and Becky said she would be able to house it at Pease. Becky is on our board and also director of Pease Public Library. So we had that plan, and it was going to get moved today. And then 1 week ago today, CEO of Northway called up and said, would you folks be interested in the building, Phil Woodward? And I said, and we actually had been mentioned in our board meetings, and I said, well, we would, but it's so out of our reach. There's no way. I mean, I knew what the value was on the tax map. I knew what Northway paid for it, and it was like, this is so out of our reach. And then Bill said, well, what if we gave it to you? Yeah. And so that's where we are. And what we would like to do today is just kind of have a straw vote of, do you feel this is worth investigating? So what we're thinking is that we could get a task force together just to investigate and evaluate if this is a good idea and if it could work. Marcia?
I think that's a great idea to have an investigator and have a task force. Do you have a time limitation? Are you thinking the task force would work for 3 months and then make a recommendation? I'm just thinking of, if you make it open-ended.
Yeah, I don't know if, Jeff, do you know if Northway has a time constraint on a decision?
What would you consider, what would you think the task force would need? What period of time do you think it would take you to come to some sort of conclusion?
We have any expiration in the room. I'm feeling such at a loss that, what do you think it would take for us just to research and talk to people and see if maybe we could partner with someone? What are the operating costs and all that kind of thing to see if it would really work? What do you think?
Building inspection.
Bill, yeah, all that.
Yeah. And I'm still like my kitchen. Holiday season's coming up. If they be
6 months.
maybe 6 months, maybe 6 months.
I was gonna say 6.
Was the bank gonna go?
Would that work, Jeff? If we took
That seems like a while.
That does seem like
Yeah, but
like
or
with the holidays, maybe 4 like by the end of January.
we're almost in November. November, December, end of January. That would be 3 months.
I hate to say in create it takes 4. So I really pressed on that. I can bring that forward and you can talk about it on our end and see what where we're at with it.
So you don't have any tax year considerations or anything like that?
I would say no.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. But our biggest concern is to repurpose it if it's going to be repurposed for use for a good cause and, keep the history of the building. And I mean, this organization is a good fit, we think, and but it has to be a good fit for you also. There's a lot of square footage here and aisles, but it's empty right now, so you can pretty much assess the whole thing.
And if it did involve a partnership to make this work, that would probably be okay. Maybe or
It would depend on whether or not how the nonprofit situations would work out. I'm not sure how all those laws work and who the partner would be.
okay.
But
This carries you out.
no, that's a good question. But it is a big area, and it's a lot to take care of. Sometimes if it can benefit more than one group.
Well, we were also thinking, we had some public conversations already. There's a possibility that if something like a partnership could work, that would also potentially bring more visibility to the Historical Society by giving us more open hours and that sort of thing than we would normally have. So that it could be like a win-win on both sides. Maybe we haven't really explored it yet.
And like I said, I think they want to look at what the partnership and who it would be, and I'm sure we would have no interest in controlling that, but it would be whatever requirements we would have to make as far as making it a true donation situation.
So yeah, there's many things to explore, and we don't really have time tonight, obviously, to get into. So the question is, should we pursue, at least research and investigate this? And so I guess I'm looking for a motion.
Clarification question. Motion include, I'd like 5 board members. We'll assume there'll be 5 board members, or should it be 5 board members of community member, or 5 board members, somebody from the bank, or so. I'm just also wondering about the makeup, because I assume that would want to be in the motion too.
I don't know that we're ready to figure that part out yet, because this is good. I really had a chance to think about it, even as a board. It's a very good question, though. Very good question.
So the motion was either the board will set the.
Yeah. So
I guess at this point we're more looking for input as to whether we even think it's a good idea to get a group of people together. Into all these questions.
right. So the motion is, should we research it? That's all it is.
Right. I would also add, if anyone's here tonight probably who might be interested in a task force like this, probably let us know
Absolutely.
while you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Okay.
I know when I heard this the first time, what came to my mind was the little task force that formed over at the museum a few years ago. That group was very effective in solving that problem. Perhaps the expertise in that group might be something we could draw on here as well.
Someone like to make a motion?
I move we explore this possibility of acquiring this bank. Forming a task force to explore acquiring this building.
Second.
Okay, is there any more discussion or questions about Clinton?
I would like the motion to give the board the authority to appoint the members of the committee or whatever we're doing now, task force.
Friendly amendment?
I'll take that amendment, yeah.
I will too.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of having the board form a task force to research and investigate the possibility of acquiring this building? Any opposed? Thank you. So one last thing before we
Before she lets us eat cake.
right, and Henry, and we have a few appreciations to give out. But the last thing is the election of board members and officers. So there's only one board member who's up for a new 3-year term, and that is John Christ, who so gives us his time, even though he also works for full-time, spends hours and hours till 11 o'clock at night on the planning board and so forth. But he has really been great on the board. And then for president, Terry Fifield, and treasurer, no one else would do it. Cheer. So could we just have a motion to accept this slate, which would be President Terry, Treasurer Kathy Kelsey, Trustee John Chris?
So,
Second.
Discussion? Questions? Why are we doing this? No. All those in favor of the slate? Okay, thank you. All right. So now for the fun part, we just have a few things to give out. I want to say this board has been just a joy to work with, first of all. I really do look forward to the meetings and collaborating, and we have fun. Steve, who couldn't be here tonight, tells us it's amazing every time he calls. Steve Ram says. So I think I want to start this with the 3 gentlemen who came in the back of the room.
so
Hang on a second. Oh, yeah. So I have to tell you, so this award is called the Protect and Serve Award, and it goes to the Plymouth Police Department. And so I want to tell you, we have a security system that is so challenging for so many of us. And when I first got on the board, I set it off 3 times. And these young men would come to the door and make sure we were okay. And I'm like, no, it's just a senior citizen. I have no idea. But they've just been great in following up and being with us. So, yeah, so we have a few things for each of you. Only one certificate, though. You're going to have to share.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Personally, I think I'm still a member of the Historical Society. I signed up years ago, but I'm actually, in my off time, because I have a history degree, and it's what I do. I actually went back and got our police roster dating back to like 1890s. When I was done to donate it to the Historical Society. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys solve crime.
Good night.
So our next award, we've titled the Abacus Award, is to Mary Baldwin for who isn't here tonight, but for her 7 years on the board and for the last few years serving as treasurer. So,
7.
give her a thank you when you see her.
And our next one, surprise, surprise, is for Louise. It's called Thanks for the Memories. Because Louise, I don't know if you know, has done dozens. How many videos?
Maybe hundreds.
Well, let's put it at 80, and I feel good. I'm not sure how many.
You can go on YouTube and see them, and we just really appreciate Louise. And by the way, Lisa made up these amazing certificates.
On YouTube at the Pemmy Baker TV channel. Okay, and the next one is the Daniel Redux Award to Joe Casey for reprising his portrayal of noted statesman and orator Daniel Webster and returning him to the courthouse.
Of course.
Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm sure that Daniel appreciates. Like,
You're smiling far too much.
yes. True. He was staring at me all evening. Anytime that he can come back, it's a pleasure.
Our next one's to Paul Turley, who I think is in Italy. But if you know Paul, he's just there all the time whenever we need to have something fixed. It's one of the things that you admire in a man, right? Somebody who can fix things. That's Paul Turley.
Still learning a lot of things from Paul Turley. Yeah. And the Posted Award goes to Joyce Bruce, who, right now I manage the Facebook page, but what I really do is pull up old content that Joyce put together and then just highlight it again. And so she did a phenomenal job of putting hundreds of historic photos on the Facebook page and getting them out there where people can appreciate them. So thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Robin Dorff, I'm sorry he can't be here. You might remember him from one of the summer presentations that Steve Rand pulled a panel together, and he just showed up and came in through the back door from what year? He was a baby. And he came in as Senator Henry Blair.
Okay, and Ice Cream, You Scream for Alex Ray and Lisa Muir. Actually, don't know how to say her last name. So that's right.
You're right.
Anyway, for magically creating an instant ice cream social and keeping it cool at the OWC. Always there when you need them. So great partners. Yeah.
Rotary Club, the state the Service with a Smile Award, and you heard on the report that they did a whole barbecue this summer and donated all the funds to us.
And Jonathan Card, pronounced right?
Picard.
Card. And Dan Saucer, yeah, for their captured on camera for their work recording our programs and meetings and being there when we need them, even though we forget to ask all the time.
I'm damned about that.
So we'll make sure you get this before you step out the door. We have 2 Archaeologist Awards, and this is for commitment for digging up presenters for programs and promoting preservation and sharing our history. And these go to Marcia Schmidt-Blades and Mary Ann Saul. Our programs have been amazing. Yeah.
And the Legacy Award to the young ladies. That's supposed to be the Young Ladies Library Association.
Great.
Okay. For continued stewardship of the old Webster Courthouse during 148 of its 250 years and sharing it with PHS for 33 of our 50 years. So
So who gets this? Is it Mary or is it?
I think we already have.
Is it?
I mean,
How many young ladies?
Young ladies.
I could put it in Karen's mailbox if you want me to. There's three of the young ladies.
That's what
I know.
Yeah.
Let's try, but we'll share. That's what this show. Next one goes to
Doses.
docents. Michael Farley, Judy Farron, Mike McNeil, here,
Dick Flanders, who have shown up on Saturday mornings, 10 to 1, and greeted people near and far, helped them find resources. So, and that's really appreciated because there's not enough board members to go around and do that. So Michael, and you're here. And Steve's here. Yeah.
And it's in the lights are on.
Please. That would like that
chill. Yeah. See him jumping up. Thanks.
And we want to thank Abby Batchelter for her artistic eye, for volunteering her time to film, video, and stills of the 50th celebration. And I think you did a little editing before you gave them to us and posted them on. So that was much appreciated with you.
And then last of all, we have this
Promotion Devotion Award. This goes to Linda and Michael Barlick because they're the ones that put up posters all over town. Do I have that right?
Step back. And
And thank you all for being here and supporting the organization.
Yeah. And I have two other little gifties to give. I couldn't ask Lisa to make a certificate for herself.
first,
So Lisa has just been amazing. I mean, her graphics and everything she's done for exhibits and even things like this. So quick story. So I tried doing a certificate and Lisa took one look at it and rolled her eyes. So I'll do it. So this is just an appreciation for the whole year. And the other one is Terry. Terry, we've kind of co-presidented this year and collaborated on quite a few things. And it's just been really fun. It's made it the whole job really enjoyable.
There's a certain amount of co-presidenting that's going to continue. I think.
So with that, we're ready for and this is my this Henry ready. Get all my things with it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Do that.
It's just don't. I need to introduce you.
Yes.
So Henry has grown up in Plymouth, New Hampshire, and just is a force actually in the community. I would say he has a deer farm and been involved in many community things. And this was probably one of the biggest. But
well, the bridge itself. The bridge
yeah.
itself.
So I was really excited when Henry agreed to present tonight. And Henry was the one that suggested we meet here because this is where the replica is.
So, little background. I'm Henry Ahern. I've kind of been in Plymouth all my life, except my father was in the service, so we traveled around a lot and arrived back here in, I think, 1962 when he retired. And so I've been here sort of ever since. Farmhouse that I live in was my grandparents' farmhouse. And so we've kept that going. And several years ago, 30 years ago now, only a few, my brother and I were looking around what to keep farm to farm, and we ended up with the deer farm. So that's how kind of the deer farm started. In that period of time, though, Smith Covered Bridge, out where the Millennium Bridge is now, got bad enough that the selectmen closed it to all traffic. And at a town meeting, for a certain time after that happened, George Greer got up and said, I'd like to chair a committee of people to raise funds to restore it. And some of the selectmen weren't too happy, so there was an issue there. But in 1992, the Smith Bridge Restoration Committee was formed. And our goal at that time was to raise money to restore the bridge that was there. As part of that endeavor, we began a lot of fundraising activities. We sold hats. I found my hat. T-shirts. We had a music festival. We did dinners on the bridge, a couple of dinners on the bridge, which were real exciting and a lot of fun. In January 93, we began planning a Black Fly Festival, which was to benefit the town of Plymouth. So these are all restoration things. And then in that period of time that was going on, we got hold of the National Covered Bridge Society, and Colonel Wilbur Hoxie, who was in his 80s at that time, actually sat down to hand drew the bridge as it existed. And that's what the plans are. And I have the plans up here, and everybody can come up and look at them after. I was going to try and get a presentation slides or pictures up, but that didn't happen. Ran out of time. Farming used to be pretty busy. So up here I do have some pictures and do have the plans. And as time progressed, he drew the plans, and then as we all know, in 1993, April 16th, an arsonist burned the bridge down. I was on my way back from Massachusetts at the time, and I got a call from my brother on a bag cell phone, the old bag cell phone, that the bridge had burned. And so I came directly back. The Black Fly Festival, though, was still in the realm of happening, we thought, during the summer of 93. The Black Fly Festival was going to contain a craft show, a car show, a hot air balloon show. Oops, I left my show and tells over here. These are some of the other events we did. But gun show, hot air balloon rides, horse show, antique car show, helicopter rides, ham radio demos, book fair, antique show, foot race, a classic car show, the Wentworth Fife and Drum Corps were coming down to do it. For the children, we'd set up pony rides, hay rides, face painting, puppet shows, and minstrels. So it was a pretty big undertaking. The gun show was going to be at the field house of Plymouth State. The fairgrounds was where most of the other activities were going to be going on. Unfortunately, in March of 1993, and there was, at that time, about 8 of us on the committee, but we had volunteers from Vermont, we had volunteers from all over the area. The whole Covered Bridge Society had like 30 people they were going to bring over. There was a lot of volunteers to come and work the show. And one of the major sponsors, I approached them and said, here's all the jobs we need done: parking, ticket taking, ticket sales, everything else. We had printed over 200,000 $2 off tickets that were going out all over New England. That was all ready, set to go. They actually were delivered in my barn the day before this happened. And so we had the list of jobs to do, and the chairman looked at it and said, well, I'm not sure how much we can do. And 4 hours later, he called me on the phone and says, we no longer want to sponsor the event. And their name was on all the tickets. We had a Yankee magazine ad already out. So we had a lot of things that were done. And the goal of the committee at that time was this event would be passed on to the organization that we were sponsored with as an event for the town of Plymouth. And think of what that brings, town of Plymouth. So it was one time for the bridge, continued on. The total of number of people we had to have arrive and buy $2 tickets was under 1,000. All right? So that went on. We had a few things going. We couldn't cancel the balloons. And we had the ad in the Yankee magazine. On the day of the festival, we actually had the balloons at the airport. We probably had pretty close to 1,000 or 1,500 people show up for the festival that was supposed to be going on, which was kind of disappointing. So that would have been a huge moneymaker for the town of Plymouth. So as we continued on, though, these things had, because we had got a lot of publicity for that, we were getting a lot of donations. And at one time, we had almost $40,000 that we had raised for the covered bridge, which was pretty good thing. Well, we had a town meeting, and I tried to find the date, and I don't remember exactly which town meeting it was, but we had a town meeting determining about what was going to happen with the bridge out there. We had plans and quotes from Arnold Grayton to build, prior to the arsonist, the design that we had done and Hoxie had done was to raise the weight limit. Couldn't raise the height, we could raise the weight limit. Fire trucks would have been able to go through it. School buses would have been able to go through it as long as they weren't high school buses. But that's when it was burned, just a few days before it was, we were going to present that. So after it burned, we did a kind of a revamp and got a price for great to do it. At the town meeting, unfortunately, we were $6,000 short of what it was going to take with the insurance to build it, even though I had a commitment from FEMA to pay the $6,000, donate the $6,000. But as long as we were having conflicts with the selectmen, I'll say, they wouldn't give it to us. And so at the special meeting, we lost by 6 votes to build the bridge. The special town meeting. So it was decided that the state was going to build the bridge and take over, and consequently, that's what happened. So now the covered bridge committee is sitting on $30,000 that we had to figure out what to do. So we went to our donors that had donated things, and they said, we're not going to be able to build a bridge. Do you want your money back? And I think we had 5 people that wanted their money back out of all the people, and I have a stack of all the people that donated. So we still were, what are we going to do with the money? So we decided as a committee that we raised the money to make a covered bridge. So we commissioned Brian Allen from Allen Woodworking down in Meredith. Some of you may know he owned Cerruti Construction after Joe Cerruti gave it up in Meredith building houses. At that time, though, he was building circus and fair exhibit booths, things like that. He said he would build it. We commissioned him to build it. And what he built is sitting here in front of you. Okay? This bridge, it is in here, two important things. One, it was built from Hoxie's plans. And number two, the wood is all from the original Smith Bridge. Okay? So we salvaged the wood. I actually still have about a third of the bridge sitting down in my gravel pit, but it's pretty soft after all these years. But we captured it. We're going to do some other fundraising using pieces of the bridge and things like that. So we have this bridge that was built at the time. It took him about 2 months to get it built, 2 to 3 months. And to me, it looked beautiful, and I love it. So as we were getting it built, realizing the size, we approached the Pemigewasset National Bank and said, would you like to have this nice bridge in your lot? Because we didn't know what we were going to do with it after we got it built, but it was Plymouth brick. So it was that was our goal, and they said, yes, we'd love to have it. So consequently, we moved this bridge. I actually had it all set up in my office, and like he gave us without the siding and everything on it. I had that set up, got some pictures. We do have pictures up here of the bridge in different phases of construction at my office. And then we do have the pictures of the bridge moving in the day we moved it in and dedicated the bridge. It has since resided here since 1994. June of 94. We had the dedication here at the bank. And then after that, the Smith Bridge Restoration Committee officially became the Smith Bridge Historical Committee. And we continued on for a lot of years, just kind of doing the historical stuff. I still have some of it, but in 2021, the Historical Society the Smith Bridge Historical Society, our board of directors is getting smaller. I think there's 5 of us left, maybe only 4. You have to have 5 for the New Hampshire Charitable Association. So we met, we had a vote and voted to donate the bridge to the Historical Society. So since March 26th of 2021, the Historical Society has owned that bridge, but we also made arrangements that it could stay in Northway Bank, and it was going to stay. Since then, we know some things have happened. Northway Bank's not here. So I talked to Kathy and said that the bridge was there, and I was trying to find out what was going to happen to it because I had a major concern. I mean, put my life and soul into this thing. I bought big copy machines so that I'd have copies for all the stuff that he was doing. It was really, really important to me that this bridge had a home.
And we can't fit it.
Yeah, it won't fit my voice. Brian, though, I was talking to him about it, and he says, well, if you need a place for it to go, I'll take it back and store it. And I didn't think that was good. That's merit. That's not Plymouth.
Just to check that date, the date that you donated it to the Plymouth Historical Society was
March 26, 2021.
2021.
We just signed the agreement. So I have the agreement. I actually have the agreement here with me.
Yeah, I just thought it was earlier.
Yeah, no, that's the date that we donated. Okay, that the store.
I know the way.
I guess. Okay.
So Kathy called me and said, well, we have to move it. How hard is it to move it? And I says, it's easy to move it. 4 people can easily move this bridge. The cover comes off. So that's 2 people. 3 is nice to lift the cover off. I mean, there were only 5 of us that moved it in. So cover comes off. The bridge just lifts out. It's not attached in there in any way. Take the bridge out. And you can carry out. I can't remember. I think the top comes off the bottom here too, but I don't remember 100% for sure. But I believe that's So there's actually 3 pieces, the top, the middle piece, and the bottom. So I said, find a place, I'll help you move it. She says, well, the library has decided that they have a home for it. And I says, good, that's not very far to move it. Doing out my truck and trailer, and we'll just take it up the hill. That's an easy thing to do. Then she called me a couple days later because we had set up today. It was the day we were actually going to move the bridge, and said, well, Northway Bank said we don't have to move the bridge, at least for the moment. So I was very, very happy about that. And so I'm hoping the Historical Society, I like the idea of them having the bridge, and if she need, I'll volunteer to be on the task force. I'm getting bad looks from what it is.
Yeah.
So that, very happy that it's going to remain in Plymouth and here. I have sent a lot of people here. It's a big draw to look at the bridge. A lot of people have come up. A lot of people don't know it's here. It's amazing. Yeah. But then a lot of people don't know I have a deer farm down here. I've been there for 33 years. So that's kind of the end of what I had for presentation. I have smaller copies of Hoxie's drawings here if anybody wants to look at them. This stuff, by the way, is all under the bridge. I have pictures. We can pass pictures around. There's a lot of pictures on the bridge fire here, but this is where kind of the building and the dedication starts. You want to pass that around. I had laid out some of the posters and so forth we use for our fundraising up here. You're welcome to look at those. And only a couple things that I need to say before we leave. I really would like if a couple rugged guys would help me lift this top off, because I really would like to clean up what's in there. That's bothered me for years and years, if we can.
Yep.
And then we'll tell you that I will help to work to put together these things. I must have them somewhere on my computer that are in the top that have all been kind of coffee stained over the years. And on this Smith Bridge, New Hampshire has a bad date on it. So I didn't get that out, but it does take, I was going to bring my suction cups tonight, I forgot. So it takes
Pretty much to lift it off.
to lift this glass. Not to lift the cover, just to lift this glass. But we can do that. Any questions?
What are the biggest differences in the Hoxie plan and the bridge that burned?
The Hoxie's plans that this was built from are exactly the same as the bridge at Fern.
Right.
There were further plans after that that had the reinforcing in it to bring it up to H20 or whatever it is that the highway's deep now.
But your drawings and the model are what was there,
What was there? Yes.
including the wood.
Including the wood. And just so you know, it's open on that side so you can see. Underneath it is the other side of the other piece of roof. So it is all there. It can just, we left the roof off so everybody can see the construction. By the way, the construction, the actual bridge itself, this square here with the 2 triangles, that's called a long truss. So this is a long truss. It was there's only 4 long truss bridges left in New Hampshire. Covered bridge. One's the Blair Bridge, just off the road. It's also a long truss. The arches were actually added after. So the arches that are there were added after the original bridge, just to give it more this bigger hay on wagons and bigger things like that. So that they were a nailed laminated arch. So it was all put together with nails. And that the funny thing is that we didn't do it on this end, but on the ends between the laminated boards, there were kind of very large nails. And we really don't know why they were there. The only thing we came up with was to keep it from moving. Who knows? But there was some reason that those were there. And in some of the pictures that we have on the Historical Society has a bunch of pictures because I gave you also some boxes full of a lot of the stuff that went with the bridge. All of these posters and everything actually had been here. I didn't have those left. So, but it's a long truss bridge and single span with the Blair is a 2-span.
And Henry Long is the architect, right?
Yeah, Long is the architect. Long is the design. He was the one that designed that.
But Long is that.
That's what long trust.
Yeah, Long truss.
That was I.
More questions, please.
I mean, what did they use?
With that,
What wood? Was it pine, hemlock, mixture, hardwood?
most of it we think was hemlock. Wasn't really sure. Somebody wants to investigate the wood, come down, we'll find your piece. But I think most of it was hemlock. It got to be a native wood that was close because they didn't haul it from very far. Not like the new one that's down there that they're all from a long ways away.
Yeah.
I will throw out something else just so taxpayers in this town understand. The quote we had to build to reinforce the bridge or to replace the bridge with a single span bridge like this one was $750,000. And they say between insurance and what we had the money less $6,000. That's how close we were. And I had a promise I couldn't talk about. So it was that close. We could have done a 2-lane bridge for $1.2 million.
No.
Anybody have an idea what they spent on the Millennium Bridge?
Agreed.
How about more than that?
More than
$3.7 million.
no.
Okay, for the Millennium Bridge itself.
No.
And then 1.2 million we had was a higher bridge, fire truck to go through with the ladder. That was one of the big contentious items. And that was, but that's what they spent out there to do the bridges there. It's a nice bridge, but to me, it doesn't look great.
And how many years
There's
did it take us to get there?
Huh?
How many years did it take us to get
Yeah. I don't know. Cool while to get it.
Did they ever find the arsonist?
The police chief that we had at the time said it was a low priority crime. And he wasn't going to investigate.
Did the story make the New York Times?
Yep.
They didn't think so.
So, I mean, that was it. That all said it.
It was a contentious time.
Wow. Contentious.
Anybody else? More questions?
And blame the story.
We can ask questions while we eat cake and whatnot.
Oh, yes. You didn't tell me I was standing between you and Amy.
It's standing between us and cake.
So we have lemon raspberry cake from Wicked Good Bakery. So please, I'm going to go back and get it. If you haven't seen it, it's beautiful. And Henry, thank you so much.
Great.
And thank you all for being here.
And it's very hot.
Nice bigger walls. I'm still.
How he's had it.
So glad.